love our opening music.
I do too. They always catch us dancing, Tim. We're always dancing. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome to If These Walls Could Talk. I'm Wendy Stuart.
And I am Tym Moss.
And we're
Yay.
so happy to have you with us this wonderful Wednesday.
Yes, it is a wonderful Wednesday.
There you go. How has life been treating you, Tim?
Good. Here in New York City, finally, we had a nasty heat wave last week. Oh my God. But this week is nice and pleasant. And this is my kind of weather.
Just totally loving it. And we're trying to suck the life's blood out of summer. That is the God's honest truth.
I'm trying to suck something, but that's another show.
Well, but summer is sometimes easier for Tim than other things. But I digress. So we both want to share with you. We had really interesting weekends.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did you do this weekend?
Oh my goodness, I can't even remember. I had a brunch down in Chinatown with my co-host from Comedy Sex Show.
Oh yeah,
we had a ball. We hadn't seen each other for so long, and it was just so great getting to just hang out and chat and talk and laugh and plan and stuff.
I thought I met her at Icavelli's 50 Shades of Grey.
Or you met Tara.
I met Tara.
Tara.
How many sex hosts do you have?
There's 3 of us. And it's called Comedy Sex Show. And it's Tara Tiara, who is a retired escort. She's a retired escort.
Love it.
And Lola Bastonado, who is a sex expert. And she has a show on Playboy TV and Playboy Radio. And then me, a gay entertainer from New York.
Who's been around.
And we pick a subject and
that's it.
Talk about it unfiltered. I mean, there is no, we go there.
No boundaries is what he's saying.
Exactly. None of this censored bullshit.
Well, I lead a much cleaner life than you. My big gender bender fashion show that I do every year, the Phoenix Fashion Show, was really unbelievable this year. I featured a former Miss Stanhope, which is Cookie Dough, and then we brought on Belle Pepper, who is the current Miss Stanhope. That was the Miss Stanhope drag pageant, which is lots of fun out in New Jersey. I love finding local talent, especially local drag talent. The thing about this fashion show that makes it so different than any other show that's out there, I take regular people. I don't deal with gender. I don't deal with any of the letters that we deal with all the time. There's no labels. We just throw clothes on people, right?
I love it.
And we throw them out on the runway and we just let it fly. And you know what, ladies and gentlemen, it's brilliant every time. Watching someone that's never done that before, or maybe even
and like loosen up as they go. I love that.
They find you, right? They find their inner self. They find out who they really are. It is so interesting. Even with the drag performers, they'll perform drag. They can do a death drop, but walk in the runway for a fashion show, they get this thing in their head. Oh my God, I've never done that before. So it really is all kinds of fun.
I love that. Yeah. I absolutely love that.
Yeah.
I also did Evan Lawrence's Pride out in Jersey City last weekend too. And Felipe Rose, he was the Native American in the Village People. Macho man. And he was one of the other performers. And I went on right after him. And
I love it.
It was just the old gang back together again. That's what I love. It's very family.
Well, you had Cecily Williams there. Frank, who's amazing voice. Frankie All Day, amazing voice. Ricky Velez.
Yeah.
The talent that is available.
Lady Clover Honey.
Oh, I love Clover.
And Evan Lawrence hosted it. Right. And then Felipe Rose and I performed.
And wasn't Evan wearing some of his original creations in the show? For those of you who are not familiar with him, he has really wonderful things that he creates, crowns and vests and actual headpieces out of feathers and heaven only knows what else. So yeah, we know like a lot of talented people.
Absolutely.
We really do.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm very grateful and very blessed that, whenever I do any of these shows, just all of the amazing talent that we have had, that I've had the honor of working with. It's been amazing. And again, we just do show after show after show. And like she asked me beforehand, she was like,
remember.
Yeah, she was like, what did you do this last weekend? What shows did you do? I was like, I don't remember. I have to check my calendar, which I'm very blessed and grateful for, that I've got so much going on that I have to check my calendar.
That's right. You know
But
what I say about you? So many shows, so little time.
That's right.
That's so many shows, so little time, Tim. Oh, what's
But now
going
we
on
have
here?
we have an amazing guest here this week.
Oh my God, we have a guest.
Yes.
I can see the guest.
We had a
is-
little bit of a delay, but we
Yes.
finally got
Oh,
him.
I'm so happy the guest is here. Oh, hallelujah. The guest is here and in the green room. So I want to
Yes.
tell you a little bit about the guest. Our guest today goes by the name No Mansfield, which
No
I have to
Mansfield.
talk to him about the name. Where did it come
Absolutely.
from? His given name, of course, is Frank Schubert. He is a stellar, world-renowned guitar player, singer, songwriter. He does these incredible psychedelic videos, plays with this band that he's going to talk to us about,
Yes,
Revolution.
Revolution.
We've got a great clip from Revolution. And the clincher for me is they call themselves an American rock protest band. I love that.
Yeah, I do
I love
too.
that. It's so cutting edge. They stand for underdogs, outsiders, and freedom of thought for the freaks that don't fit. Yeah. So without further ado, No Mansfield, come on in.
Come on in. No man.
How you doing?
Yes. We can hardly
Nice
see
to talk to you guys.
Okay, we're
How
prep
are
you
you?
up a little in the viewfinder there. Can we put
Yeah,
you
you
on?
might tilt your
Yeah,
camera
can
down
we put
just
you
a
on
little bit.
telephone books or something?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go. That's
You
better.
are great.
How are you doing?
Oh, well, I'm okay now. I'm so sorry I'm late. I was,
Oh no, but you had no. Can we share what happened to you ahead of time? So you were saying you had a flat tire.
yeah, I would left for plenty of time to get here, and then the boom, flat tire, and of course no one can come and get me, so I had to fix it, and I didn't have all the, the parts to do it. So
Oh my
anyway,
gosh.
I made it.
But you,
Yes.
but you did it. But I'm
So
impressed.
you changed your own
Yeah.
tire. Was this like on the freeway? You're in San Francisco, right?
Yeah, well, just outside of San Francisco.
Uh-huh.
But you
Honest.
changed me. But we're New Yorkers. We're sitting here. Tim and I
Yeah.
are agreeing with envy. You changed your own tire.
Believe it?
You know what? I don't even need to know that you're a world-renowned guitar player or that you've done all this great stuff. You changed a tire. You
That's
are the man.
We are impressed.
We New Yorkers impress easily. So thank you for being here with us today. We have a gazillion questions. We want to know about the origin of you and your band. And I'm just going to let you take it from the beginning for us.
Yeah, you talk about whatever you want, and then we'll hit you with the question.
How's that for an open book?
Yeah, that's like a big in there.
Go with it. So where did you grow up?
I grew up in a tiny little town in Wisconsin.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm from Indiana originally. Small
Oh
town.
yeah, okay.
Yep.
So yeah, in high school I played half the high school proms in Indiana. I bet
Yeah.
because I played a lot of proms all through the Midwest.
Do you remember seeing him at a prom, Tim?
I don't.
Okay.
But
Otherwise,
my prom was many, many, many years ago.
decades. Mine was in another century. But I
So yeah, same here.
Oh,
What-
right. That's clever.
But what town or what part of Wisconsin?
Like northern Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
Wow.
It's
And
a
did you
tiny
like?
little town called Mercer, and
Mhm.
it's in the
Oh, I think you
Yeah,
froze.
you froze for a second there.
Is he on Ethernet or Wi-Fi?
I have no idea.
I don't know. Yeah.
What?
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know if on the recording if he froze, but on our feed
Yeah.
he froze.
Can he hear us?
I don't know if he can
I'm
hear
doing
us
the
or not
hearing
because
thing.
we're not. Yeah, he's completely frozen and we can't.
Okay. There's
So
no way
if
to
you're
ask it.
if you can hear us, if you're on Wi-Fi, can you change to Ethernet where you just plug directly into?
There
you
we
are.
go.
I think you're back.
all right.
Oh,
Okay.
we're so happy to have you back. Look at you. You never had people that loved and appreciated you as much as Tim and Wendy do today. I'm telling you. So we were talking about,
Well, firstly, are you on Wi-Fi or Ethernet?
Wi-Fi.
Okay, because you just froze up for a little while. I don't know if you could hear us or not.
Yeah, this goofy Wi-Fi we have here. It's just, every time the wind blows, the thing stops.
That can be very disconcerting. The wind has been blowing a lot. I mean, certainly out on the coast, there's been wind and wildfires and like all of that. You must be living on the edge there, no?
It looks like it's a cloudy day, but it's smoke here.
It's real.
Oh,
Wow. So
From
it's got
the wildfires.
Yeah, we've heard. Wow, that's just crazy. So, your name. So your real name is Frank Schubert, yeah?
Well, we don't want to say. No.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but where, so I was given every name.
Okay.
Where is No Mansfield? Tell us about No Mansfield.
So about 6 years ago, somebody told me about this open mic club, and I was kind of, because I was a professional musician so long in Hollywood, I just thought open mics are for people who can't get a gig or something, and
I love it.
So I went to this club, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do a song, because I've been playing it all my life. I've never done an open mic where it's just me singing and playing. I've done acoustic gigs, but it's part of the show. So anyway, I go there. The first day I chickened out. So I go back the next week. And to get my courage up, I had 5 big gin and tonics.
that works for me too, right?
Yeah, something like that. So the next thing, you sign up. I had written my name really sloppy because I was kind of wasted. And I knew when I was supposed to go up. I knew who I was following. So I walked up on stage, and the announcer says, and he's looking at it. He looks at me, he said, do you have a name? I thought he said something else. And I said, no. And he goes, and now, no, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh my God, no, I'm loving this story so much.
Yeah, and then I was just reading this story about Jane Mansfield, and I thought, no, Mansfield, that sounds good.
I have to tell you, of all the stories I've heard about people's names, you just made my day. That is great.
That's classic.
That is absolutely.
So do we just call you No?
Yes.
Okay. Yes. So No will answer to yes, or yes. Okay. Yes. So we just call you No. Okay, good.
When I first heard your name, I was trying to figure out the origins myself, right? So I was thinking, okay, No Mansfield. It's something to do with a man having a field, right? Like Field of Dreams. So I'm really, that's really out there, isn't it? I know that it is. But I love your rendition of how it all happened. You see, sometimes those 5 gin and tonics, really good things can come from that. Absolutely.
Yeah. So you're from a small town in the Midwest, like myself. The one thing that I really appreciated about growing up is community. Is that something? Because I got my community mind or hive mind from where I grew up. Did that happen with you? Because a lot of people did not like growing up there. I did. Oh, I think you're frozen again. Shoot. Oh my God.
Okay. I feel like singing that song Frozen from
Let It Go.
Go, let it go. Let it go.
Oh, there he is. You're back.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is kind of the time delay when you talk to Mars.
Yes, right, exactly. Which we will be getting into outer space.
I want to talk
in a minute.
to outer space. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, right. But Tim was asking about, small towns.
Yeah, small town, and
How
because I
you.
kind of got my community mind from growing up in a small town. Did that happen to you, or?
Yeah, I hated that little town.
A lot of people did growing up.
Because I was growing up, there wasn't a lot there. And the people it was all loggers and alcoholics.
Loggers, wow.
Well, logger alcoholics. The town I grew up in had 13 buildings, and 11 of them were bars.
Wow.
Connected bars.
Wow.
It amazes me, though, because, look, they always say people are either born of the world or born of the town, right? Mm-hmm. You were obviously born of the world. How did you bust out of there?
Oh no, I think you froze again. Oh wait, there you go.
Yeah. This is annoying. It's that smoke, right? But Yeah, it wasn't much fun. I think first time I ran away from there I was 12 or something.
Oh, wow.
You ran away from home at 12. Wow.
Yeah, and it wasn't like I didn't like my parents or anything. It was just the town was driving me nuts.
What, you just had a desire to get out and see the world?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Wow. That's what I said.
City or something, you know, those people instead of teeth and bears.
Yeah. Yeah. Interesting. That's very interesting. When did you discover your talent for guitar or for songwriting or music?
Mm-hmm.
And I think you might have froze again. Just a second. We'll let you know when you're back on.
Okay. Frozen.
But yeah, in the Midwest, I know that's a lot of time in small towns. It's easy to go inside yourself, and I'm just wondering if that's what had happened with you. If you learned at an early age that you enjoyed music. And
like you learned at an early age that you enjoyed
Mhm.
music, but did you feel different from the people in your town? Was that
he's
here.
back.
Well,
I think I tried something new here. Maybe this will work.
okay.
Okay.
So anyway, where were we?
Yeah, we're working now.
We're good.
So
Yeah,
when
you're
did you-
working good.
When did you discover your passion for music and guitar?
Oh, really young, like 5 or 6.
Wow.
Like,
Was that? Wow.
yeah. My brother bought a guitar because he just wanted to impress this girl he wanted to date. She bought guitars. And so he learned 1 or 2 chords and just left it laying. And then when he would leave, he was always getting mad at me. I'd sneak into his room and play the guitar. You know? And
Wow.
so, yeah, I started pretty young. And then I think I had my first guitar by the time I was 8.
So were you self-taught? You taught yourself?
Yeah, up to the point, you know, I did go to school, but I'd already been in, you know, a lot of bands and was playing, you know, professional.
It's really amazing. Does either your parents, like, where did this musical talent come from, do you think?
Well, the last musician in my family was Rod Schubert. So,
Wow.
Oh, get out, my
That's quite a relative.
You
there.
got the gene.
yeah, I know. It hasn't had a lot of help with my musical career yet, but
That is so
inspired.
incredible. Wow.
Yeah, but my parents they were not musical at all.
Mhm.
Yeah, but you know, when you got that friend, you know, what did they say? Things can skip a couple of generations.
Yeah.
No, you realize how lucky you are. It could have been any kind of gene. Like my husband got a horse trader's gene from a horse thief trader from his like great uncle or something. You know what I'm saying? You don't get to pick the gene. And look at you got that one. Wow.
Yeah, I lucked out for sure.
You did totally luck out. So your first band, what was the name of your first band, like when you were in your 20s?
Oh my God. Well, 12 was my first band.
Wow.
I think it was the Purple Passions or something like that.
Yes.
And you were 12 years old.
Yeah. And it was with the same 3 guys. So we were lucky in this tiny little town. There was only 3 musicians. And luckily we didn't play the same instrument. But we were able to form a band.
Nice.
And you were the only game in town, literally.
Yeah.
We were. We would play these, you know, this was back a while, but we would play these little towns in northern Wisconsin, like 200. And there'd be 1,000 people would show up.
Wow.
This was before the internet. I could never figure out how everybody knew about it, but
wow.
It was like nothing else happening up there, especially in the winter.
Now, what were you performing? Were you doing cover songs
that's a good question.
or original songs?
So it was really weird. We started out doing original songs right away because you know, and by then we were doing covers and originals, like 50-50. So but yeah, our first big talent show, we did an original song, and it was 3 nuns that were the judges. And boy,
I love it.
In fact, a baton twirler beat us.
Oh my God.
You know, okay, but you know what? No, that's like an apple to an orange. I mean, come on.
And believe me, I'm sure all the nuns had twirled a baton at one time or another. That's why they were partial.
Yeah. So,
Wow.
yeah, it was, I mean, it was kind of the only thing that I was really interested in. I did okay in school, but, oh, and then, so it was really funny because I was playing trumpet with the school band for the halftimes for the basketball games.
Wait.
Somebody started a big snowball fight in front of the school after school one day. And I mean, it was and the principal walked out to try to yell at everybody, and everybody hit him with snowballs. Anyway, they
Love it.
yeah, it didn't hurt anybody. It was just a huge snowball fight. And so the next day I go into class and I saw it. I was walking home. I was about a quarter mile from the school, and I saw all these. I almost went back there, but I didn't. I just walked home. The next day, it's a big problem. Everybody's in trouble in the 7th and 8th grade, and we had both grades in the same room at that time. So they said, well, we're going to teach you guys a lesson. So they decided to pick the instigators. So they picked three other people who actually did start it, and me. And I'm telling them, hey, I wasn't even there. And they're like, shut up, you're lying, Schubert. Anyway.
What, did you have a reputation for being an instigator?
Yes, so I don't know. It was a band, a rock and roll band.
Right.
Oh, okay. So you were, yeah, they probably viewed you as, oh yeah, he's trouble. Oh, I'm sorry, you froze again. You're frozen.
Frozen.
Yeah, and speaking of frozen, because I imagine up in northern Wisconsin, they had a lot of snow and a lot of,
I'm sure the
lot of room for snowball fights.
But they were icy snowballs. Like I grew up in the Bronx. Our snowballs were soft snow in the Bronx. And in northern Wisconsin, it had to be like ice balls, It's brutal up there in the wintertime. Okay.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that's great that they automatically assumed he was
troublemaker.
Yeah, that he was part of it.
Don't you think, like, when you're in a small town and you're one of the few musical kids, right? Mm-hmm. You're pinned.
Yeah, absolutely.
Were you pinned as anything, or you were a good kid growing up?
Oh, I was. He just went out. I think he's going to try to come back in.
Okay, he's going to try and come back in. So my question to you, Tym Moss, you grew up in a small town. Were you like a good kid, or you were getting into trouble, or what?
No, I was the good kid that everybody liked because it's a long sordid story. But growing up gay, I didn't know I was gay because I didn't know there was such a thing as being gay.
Wow.
And so I buried everything deep down. So I had to learn how to be nice.
Yourself.
So I was Mr. Nice Guy. And speaking of,
here's our guest is back.
So you were saying, so you were saying that the principal named the 3 instigators of the snowball fight and you.
And me, yeah. And so then the punishment was I couldn't go to the basketball games for some months or something. But the band, I was the only real musician in the
Oh no, you froze again.
high school band, and I was trumpet, so they would let the high school band. So,
no, you're fine. You're good. You're back.
Yeah. Anyway, they would. So they made it.
Oh no!
So I could only show up 10 minutes before the half to get to play, and then I'd have to leave right away.
Oh, okay. So you were reprimanded.
But given a little
with conditions.
Yeah, condition.
Oh, I did too. I managed one of those too.
A conditional reprimand.
Yeah. And again, unfortunately, you're frozen again. Oh my God. But I'll let you know when you're back.
Yeah.
So
and maybe do we want to take a look at the video?
Yeah, why don't we do that? Let's take a look at the video, which is called Spiral Galaxies by Revolution.
Yep.
What that is, it's so cool.
One day, quite suddenly, So spiral galaxies sprung on and out of me. Come and visit us. We've got the place. Slime mold and Samantha light. I'm sending out a diagram. They say it can be grand. Where do you come from? Proximity. You are just a smoky haze on the Milky Way. So bring your biomorphic head to oxygen instead on the tail of the star. I'm sending out a diagram. They say it can be grabbed. I'm sending out a diagram. They say it can be grabbed. All you monsters, they think that you will wipe them out. In the afterglow, on the clouds to Jupiter, on the field below, I'm sending out a diagram. They say it can be grabbed. I'm sending out a diagram. They say it can be grabbed. Singing, here we are. Here we are. Here we are. Here we are. Here we are.
The mothership. Wow.
Yes. Yes.
That was great.
Oh my God. No, that was amazing. I love who did this video? Who made the video? Those effects.
That's my wife, Bundles, that she's the keyboard player in the band too.
Uh-huh.
Is that Olga?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
Wow. That she is unbelievable video. Absolutely beautiful, interesting, psychedelic video to watch. I love the connection with space.
Yeah. Well, we've always been David Kendrick and I, sort of the founders of the band, we're both really into science fiction. And in fact, in the 80s, we were in a band called the Electric Sheep, which that was the name of Blade Runner, the book.
Okay.
Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep was the name of the book.
Yes. Uh-huh.
We were the Electric Sheep, but ever since then, we've always been into space and science fiction and things like that.
You love science fiction. I'm going to ask you this question then. The word science fiction, right? Do you believe it's fiction, or do you now believe, like from the 80s to now, do you now believe it's an actual reality that there are other beings out there in the universe?
Well, if the universe is infinite, which seems to be, then everything you can think of exists.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's infinite, right? So,
Right.
yeah, for sure, there's other. I mean, just look at the numbers. You know, there's
Mm-hmm.
a couple 100 billion planets just like Earth. To think that we're the only ones that, yeah, you know, I think there's aliens. I don't know if we want to meet them or not.
Mm-hmm.
They might look at us like food. Cool.
Yeah,
Right.
that's true. Well, I mean, we would definitely be very prehistoric to them. But also, what I found, I don't know if you've heard, but recently, the government has released about UFOs,
Yep.
their new UFO report, stating
sure.
there are some of them, like 95% are explainable, but there's like another 5% that is completely,
They can't explain it.
they cannot find. Yeah, so
Yeah.
they truly are unidentified flying objects that could very well be from other life forms.
But it's almost, I mean, you have Navy pilots who are trained
Yes.
things,
Heard.
taking photos of it.
Yes.
So it's pretty obvious that, you know, I think, so, you know, I worked with NASA projects for a while, and I got to know a lot of people there. And one of my friends there is, so when it's, let's say you see a spaceship, right? Who do you call? Do you call the police? The police are going, oh, yeah.
911. I'm seeing a spaceship. Can you help me?
Yes. So anyway, what the police do is they refer you to a NASA facility that's closest. So for Ames Research in Mountain View, my friend Larry Lemke is the guy that gets all the calls.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And he is convinced totally that the aliens are here and that they're influencing us, sometimes good, sometimes bad.
Right.
But they're definite, and there's people that know about it. You know,
Mhm.
I have
agree.
heard that they are among us. I love that you know someone though that is telling you this stuff firsthand,
Mhm.
right? That it's reputable. What have been the characteristics he's talked about that make him believe that they're here and amongst us?
I
well-
think there we go. You're good. Or maybe not. I think you did freeze again. You did
It's
freeze
all
again.
this talk about aliens.
Yeah.
We're talking-
But yeah, because to me, my personal opinion, the UFO report, because after decades and decades and decades of denial and saying, oh no, that didn't happen. Oh, that was a weather balloon. Oh, that was,
Yeah,
like all of
they
these
did.
making up stories and doing all of this for decades. Now, all of a sudden they're like, well, maybe there are. In my opinion, they are preparing us. They are trying to prepare the masses for something that they know is going to be coming. And I don't know what it is. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea. But that's how I interpret what's going on right now.
Well, then
So-
I'll go you one better. This most recent trip of, sending quote unquote civilians, right? I don't know, is Jeff
Mhm.
Bezos a civilian? Not really,
Yeah.
but
Jeff
of sending
Bezos and
sending
Branson.
civilians into space.
Mhm.
Do you think that that's part? Do you think it's a conspiracy? Not conspiracy in a bad way, but they know what we don't know, and they're
Yeah,
looking.
There's something going on.
There's something
now.
going. There's something going on. There's something. No, I totally feel that.
I think we
way.
had No came back in. Let me get him
let's
back.
get
There
him
we
back.
go.
Hi.
Hey, I'm so sorry about this.
That's okay. We thought you were abducted. We didn't know. I thought the mothership might have come down and taken you. What Tim and I were talking about, this is completely fascinating because, most recently, Jeff Bezos and 3 other quote unquote civilians went into space. And what Tim was saying is they're trying to get us prepared for this possibility.
Yeah, I think there's something coming that they know about. That's why they're releasing after decades of saying, oh no, this, denials. Now they're like, oh yeah, well, there are unidentified flying objects. It's like they're preparing the masses for some news that's coming, is kind of how
I think that's totally possible. That's what, the guitar player for the Blink-182 band, he's got a whole studying this, and that's what he says, that they're sort of releasing this stuff slowly so that they can prepare everybody.
Yep. Yeah, because they think, the masses are stupid. And
Right.
Are you kidding? You know what? After this whole pandemic thing with this bats and everything else, I am ready for anything. And maybe
Yeah.
I am. No, I can. Right? I am like, I'm strong. I can do it.
yeah, I'm ready for the aliens.
Yeah,
Bring it on.
Bring on those aliens right now. You
Bring
want to
them on.
fuck me? You go right ahead. I'm not afraid of your little instruments. Are you?
Trust me. Yeah, no, I don't know if you knew, but I'm gay, so I could use an anal probe here and there. That would not bother me a bit.
There you go. Welcome to our show, where anything, absolutely anything goes. Getting back to abduction. Yeah. I have a very good friend, and he's a very brilliant journalist, and he has real stories that I can qualify of being abducted by aliens, and he is in upstate New York, where, believe it or not, that's everyone thinks Roswell. But upstate New York, Sullivan County, there's a pocket, a group that actually studies this. I can't remember the name.
So there's activity there.
Yes, there's there's that whole kind of activity there. I remember reading a book a few years ago about the aliens being amongst us. And there were certain things where, like, the aliens, they don't have an equal number of ribs. They have less on one side than the other. Do you know about that?
I haven't heard that one, no, but I don't know how much they're going to look like us unless they try to.
Right.
Maybe.
Right. Maybe they could absolutely look like us.
It's hard to figure out how.
Oh shoot! I think you're freezing up again, freezing here and there. Yeah, it is. It's hard for us to imagine. And because we're basically guessing, we don't know,
we don't even
and
think
we're
it's going
going
on.
based upon our experiences, what we look like, and that we walk on 2 feet. Oh, I think you're back.
Okay.
Yeah, the aliens are just screwing with us right now.
That's exactly what they're doing. I love that you basically, because your friend Larry Lemke is his name.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to friend him on Facebook. I love talking about this stuff. No, I love that, for firsthand, he's probably got information that the rest of us don't have.
It's pretty amazing how much, how many calls he gets. I don't know if you remember, but about 7 or 8 years ago, there was a thing they were calling the California drones. And they were these ships that people were seeing all over California, here in Lake Santa Cruz.
Yeah.
And one day he called me up and said, "Hey, I want to go check out a site because there's a picture of this drone. I know where they took the picture. I want to go look and see if it, if the background looks right, make sure it's not photoshopped." So we went up to this ridge, and sure enough, it was exactly like what was in the picture.
Wow.
Now, but they're small. They're 2 feet in diameter, and they figured they were drowned from a mothership somewhere. But
oh goodness.
So I guess that they dropped from the mothership, and when he comes back on, I want to ask him.
Yeah,
was
you
there
froze again.
Like something special about them? Because I guess you could touch them.
My opinion is, again, I view aliens. If I were an alien and I was studying came across this primitive planet that has life forms on it, they're scientists. They're studying what's going on. And what do we do in science? Like mammals, fish, we will tag them. We put a little chip in them so that we can monitor them and follow them, and then go back, catch them again, check it out, see what changes, and let them go and live, so that you can keep monitoring. And that, in my opinion, is what they're doing.
You think we have chips in us, Tim?
No, some people do, because they don't do it. They don't do it to everybody, but that's why some people, they claim that they've been abducted time and time again. Is because they're
that makes
tagged.
total sense.
They're tagged, and they just want to see, oh, okay, well, this one grew up this and this has had these experiences, and
they study it
it's
like
just
right.
like we're fish or mammals or whatever.
or dinosaurs, right? It
Exactly.
makes total sense to me. Our guest was abducted again.
And it wouldn't surprise me if they've been here since dinosaur times. Okay, we're back.
Oh, there you go. I think they're abducting you.
Yeah, but it's fascinating. So have you always had this fascination with science fiction and outer space?
Yeah, science fiction was from the time I could read. And
wow.
I'm pretty sure I saw a spaceship when I was 13 or 14.
Wow, cool.
Same. I was 14 years old and I saw one.
Really? Yeah. So I know. And when you're that young, you tell people, and they're like,
Mm-hmm.
but
Wow.
At that point on, I was saying, something's going on in this world here that is fascinating. So it's been a long time that I've been into this. And then with like the video, that was really fun because with Olga, I'm not a video person as much as a music person, right? And so when we basically I just let her pick the songs, or sometimes I say I want to do this song, but then I'll have I'll spend and make all these notes and write down, and a guy should have a hat on and move here and she just smiles and says okay, and then she does something that's totally different, but it's always so good that at first I was like, you didn't listen to my ideas. No, I mean, it's just so good. I don't need it.
Yeah, she knows what she's doing.
She knows her
she
stuff.
definitely
Have
does.
aliens been like an ongoing theme throughout your videos? I looked at Little Red Dolls too.
Yeah.
That
aliens, ghosts,
yeah.
And like I say, David and I have been writing about outer space, and probably 3 or 4 songs on every album we do is about that.
Wow.
Yeah. It's kind of our, but it's really fun. I mean, it's
kind of your thing.
It's kind of like with music. I always thought music was really good because you can never reach the end. You can never say, "Oh, I know everything about music."
Right?
It's so much of it. Well, it's kind of like with space, and Now I had a job for a while where I was building Mars habitat simulators.
Interesting.
That NASA uses. They put astronauts in, and it's the size and the shape of the module they would use to live on Mars.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah, I built one at the North Pole, one in Utah, and one in Iceland.
Wow.
Wait, get out. This is like now we're on the same train here. I'm so loving this. How did you end up going up to the North Pole to do this?
Well, you want to put these things in what they call Mars analogs, which is It looks like when you look out the window, it looks like Mars. And this island, Devon Island, is that's where we did it. It's just I don't know it's not too far from the Arctic or the North Pole, actually. It's in the Arctic Circle, but I don't know how they picked that island. I think NASA was doing a research. Oh yeah, they were doing research there anyway because it's right next to what's called the Houghton crater. It's the biggest crater on Earth that far north.
Wow.
It's like
Right. A giant crater. It's got to get your wheels turning.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was from meteor crater.
Right.
So we built this thing right on the edge of one side of this, and then the scientists were studying, the impact crater and all the stuff that went along with it. But,
Wow.
that one was tricky because there's no road. I mean, this island that we built that on, it's 140 miles from the nearest Eskimo village, which is 1,500 miles from the nearest town. So we got the Marines to borrowed one of their C-130s, and we put this thing on, with parachutes and dropped it onto the island. And I kind of got involved. I had designed the inside of it, but I wasn't really that involved.
What?
And then what happened was it crashed. The last paradrop they forgot to put the parachute on or something.
Ah,
Smashed the crane that they were going to use to put it up. And
Oh my God.
that's an expensive mistake, I would say.
Yeah.
oh yeah. So they said, "What are we going to do?" And I said, "Well, I can build it without the crane." It was a dumb idea anyway. And then and we'll just get us plywood and we'll rebuild the floors. And it was funny because there was also about 500 pounds of food in there, so it was like plywood and spaghetti everywhere.
Oh my God.
My favorite dish. I always have plywood with my spaghetti.
A lot of fiber. Yeah. Oh my God, that's amazing. Because I had just heard where they're doing a Mars simulation, and they're looking for volunteers for a year to live there in Texas.
Oh, you did hear it? Wow.
Yeah, I got an email. They asked me if I wanted to do it. And I'm like,
Well, the cutoff age is 50, and I just turned 60. So, because I was thinking about it, I would be down for that.
because of my experience, that's why they asked me to go.
Of course. No, would you do it? Would you do it? Are you thinking about it?
I wouldn't do a simulation. I've spent months in those damn things. It's cool the first couple of weeks, but
yeah, right. I imagine.
Yeah, as far as going to Mars, I don't know. You know, Elon said something funny about it. He said, "Yeah, I want to die on Mars, preferably not on landing."
There you go. He makes
That's
such
great.
sense to me,
That's
right?
Great. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I don't know about that 9-month flight. I mean, I bitch about an hour and a half or 2-hour flights here on
right.
Earth, let alone 9 months in outer space.
It's not good if you're
to get there.
claustrophobic either.
Oh, yeah.
How did you get involved in building these simulators? Like, what was your background in that?
Well, so my brother was a contractor architect, so I kind of, from a young age, I knew how to build houses and stuff. And then I fell into this group of club owners in Denver that one of the guys said, "I need somebody to design the club." And I said, "I'll do it." And it went over so good, I ended up doing, I don't know, 8 or 9 of the big clubs in downtown Denver.
Wow,
That's
And
so cool.
So I was set up for architecture at the time, and I had this goofy girlfriend at the time. Was going to go to the Mars Society, and I said, "What the hell's that?" Anyway, we go there. I met the head guy. 6 months later, I guess I had put my name somewhere, and they said, "Hey, your name's on here as a volunteer to help us design this thing. And you want to be in the competition?" I thought, "Yeah, sure." And I designed it and won. And then they said,
"Oh my God.
Well, we're going up to the North Pole to set this thing up. You want to come up there? You can come up and just help us do the exterior or the interior, because that's the part I designed." And then the thing crashed, and everybody was ready to give it up, but NASA and the Mars Society were going to get screwed because they Discovery Channel had already given them $2 million
Wow.
to film this whole adventure, right? And so they're freaking out, and I said, "Yeah, just get a bunch of the Eskimo kids. They're off on high school right now, and give me like 10 of those guys, and we'll build it." Yeah.
Wow.
This story is
That's
absolutely it's an incredible story. No, it really I'm a member of the Explorers Club. Okay. I've met the people that do this. If you come to New York, I'm taking you on a tour through the club, and I'm introducing you. I'm like foaming at the mouth right now.
This is so
and I love that
fascinating.
you use the local kids. Brilliant, right? How
Yeah.
brilliant.
They had a bunch of scientists there, and they said, "Well, we'll help." And I was like, "Nah."
Have you ever picked up a hammer?
Yeah. So
Nope. And what's so cool is, I mean, you're just like, "Oh yeah, I designed that." Like,
I know.
excuse me?
It's like, yeah. I can design
well,
something.
a guy's got to stay busy. So
Yeah, no, I know there's not a lot to do up there. So at least you kept yourself occupied while you were there, and it's cold as anything.
oh God, so that was this summer well, at least back then. This is almost 20 years ago now. This summer lasted from July 4th until about August 1st.
Wow.
And now it lasts from June 1st till
Yep.
September 1st.
September,
That's
yep.
how-
Because of the global warming,
Wow,
right?
That's scary. That's
Yeah,
really
I actually
scary.
know people that are working up at the North Pole. It's absolutely tragic. I mean, when you
Yeah,
see
it's
what's
frightening.
happening to the polar bears and all the wildlife.
Because one of the things that people don't understand is we are part of nature,
Yeah.
and Mother Earth eventually will just get fed up, and she will be like, "Fine, I got this. I'll take care of it,"
Yeah.
and restore herself. No matter
It-
what we do to her, she will restore it.
Right.
And
With or without us.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, it'd be like, give me a couple million years, I'll straighten it out.
Yeah.
Bugs over
So
here.
I'm curious, knowing this background that you have, from your perspective, where do you think this pandemic came from?
Well, I've heard some pretty smart guys talking about the fact that it almost had to have been made in a lab.
Mhm.
Now, I don't think that was released on purpose at all.
Right.
think
I don't
Right.
think so either.
Right.
Yeah, they just didn't realize how contagious it was. And Olga and I had it in
Mm-hmm.
like the beginning of January of 19, to
Me
where
too.
nobody knew.
Yeah.
We all did also. Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't have a name for it then, or it wasn't
Right.
called COVID.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, it was like 2 days, and I just was under the weather a bit. For her, it was about a week of where I was. I mean, she's a doctor, so I'm saying, "God damn it, I'm taking you to the hospital." And she's, "No, I'm a doctor. I know exactly what's going on."
Wow.
And she cured herself using, she uses a lot of herbal remedies and things
Mhm.
like that. So there's this stuff called rapé that you blow it into your nose. You don't snort it. Like you have somebody blow it into your nose, and I don't know exactly what it does, other than it feels like your face is going to fall off for about 5 minutes. And it's horrendous for me personally, but it gets rid of colds just boom like that.
Wow.
So she was doing that 3 times a day for a week, and that's how she got through it.
Wow. Wow.
You know.
Incredible.
That's so interesting, right? So
Yeah.
so interesting.
I use oregano oil, which is
Yeah.
good to fight off viruses.
That's-
Yeah, that's really good too.
oil of oregano.
Yeah. Wow.
So your band is so interesting. You're connected to NASA. Olga's a doctor.
Yeah.
I'm finding
Yeah.
out all these things.
Yeah. And you've also played with some incredible people like our buddy Randy Jones and Scott
Yeah.
Page. Randy
love
Jones
Scott.
is from the Village
His
People, and Scott Page, who played with Pink Floyd, and Devo.
Yeah.
Is your drummer?
Played with Devo.
Yeah,
Is that, uh-huh.
I love Devo. To me, had a very like alien spaceship, science fiction feel to them
Yeah, they were-
as a group.
Yeah, that was a fun band. I played with them a little bit too.
Uh-huh.
Did recordings for him. That's how I got to know him from that band Electric Sheep, because first band there, our first record at their studio. And it was funny because I didn't know, I knew about Devo, but I didn't really know who they were or anything.
Mhm.
So the first 2 days we're recording this album, I was in the studio part, in the big room, and I was playing guitar with the drummer and the bass player so they could, for reference, right? And then the idea was, you didn't record me, you record them, and then I go back and overdub my parts. So it was like the third day, and I'm standing. I told the engineer, just give me a long cord, and we'll put the amplifier in the studio, and I'll stand next to you in the control room. Then we don't have to put the headphones and stuff like that. So we're doing the tracks, and I'm standing next to him, and I looked over and I said, "Hey, do you know these guys in Devo?" And he looked at me kind of funny, and I said, "They're pretty weird, aren't they?" Well, I hear David's laughing. It was Bob too from Devo.
Pretty weird, aren't they?
I love it.
You
I
never
love it.
know who you're talking to, you know?
Yeah, gotta be careful. So,
You
but,
got to be careful.
yeah, so Bob too and I became really good friends. for until he passed 3 years ago. He was like my best friend.
Wow.
I love it.
Yeah, super smart. He was a nuclear physicist before he joined the band. He was working on Alamos.
He was a nuclear physicist. Wow.
Yeah. Brother called him out. We're starting a band. You should come out. And he goes, oh, okay.
Well,
And
now
he was. Oh, go ahead. Well, he was really the one who made the Devo sound because he engineered and mixed and everything for the band. So he had a lot to do with the way they sounded.
Well, I cannot believe that I have not said this yet because I've been so
Yeah,
fascinated with this
go for it. I know what you're
interview.
going to say.
But you're watching If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our incredibly fascinating guest, No Mansfield, right here. Yay!
We applaud you. Okay.
Now, and we're also Wendy and I are broadcasting directly from PANGEA, who PANGEA has always been a supporter of the arts.
Great.
And so we've started a GoFundMe, which is down here for Pangea, because they're just coming out of the pandemic and now they need our support. So please, if you get a chance, please feel free to make a donation to them.
And if you're watching in New York, or if you live here in New York, or if you're coming to New York, you can come to Pangea.
Yes.
I just got their schedule from the end of August into the fall, and it's show after show after show
They've got a lot
after
of good,
show. They've
good
got
shows
so
coming
many
out.
great people. They have a jazz brunch here every single week, so it's really a terrific place.
A couple of either 1 or 2 nights out of the month is Sumatsuki.
Our friend Sue Matsuki, who's been on our show. So yeah, they support the arts. We support them. You'll have a great meal, a fantastic cocktail, and entertainment too. So please come on down.
Yes. So now, No Mansfield, how can people find out more about you and your music? Do you have a website? And
Yeah, we have the website, revolution.com.
Okay, and I like the way you spell revolution.
Yeah, I have a question. What made you choose that particular spelling?
Well, so we couldn't find a name for the band, and then one night I was in a couple glasses of wine. I thought, it'd be a revolution if we ever got popular. And my wife said, let's use that, Revolution. And I completely forgot about one of my favorite bands ever, Prince and the Revolution.
Of course.
Great. On me. Anyway, she said, okay, and she went over and came back and said, we can't get the name Revolution, but unless and she's Russian, right? She said, if I spell it like we would in Russia, we can do it. And I thought, oh, sure, why not? And I didn't realize at the time, I was kind of naive about this, that when people would type in looking for us, they'd type in Revolution, the computer would instantly auto check it, and nobody could find it. Well, now we've been around, we've got enough web presence, so we have one of the sidebar on Google. When you type in our name, it comes up with
I did that. Yeah.
Check below the exact spelling of revolution, and so they can go to revolution.com. That's your website, where you can find out everything about No Mansfield. And what about other social media?
We have Instagram, TikTok, the whole thing. And with Revolution, spell it is just pretend you're drunk. Revolution.
You'll be fine. Pretend you've had those 5 glasses of gin. You'll come up with a new name for yourself.
Oh my!
So before we go, I have to ask you this: are you still working with NASA?
Not NASA per se. I still work with the Mars Society a bit.
You're working with them. I'm going to Google them for sure. I don't know anything about them, and now you've got me chomping at the bit about that.
Yeah, the Mars Society.org, and then you just look for the Mars Desert Research Station or the Flashline Arctic Research Station, and those are the ones that I built.
And
that is so impressive.
Yeah,
that's so cool.
They just asked me to go out there next week again because they want to do some upgrades, and I have to kind of show them how it was built. So
it amazes me. How do you just know how to do this?
Yeah, just innately.
My brother was, you know, he ever since I was 5 or 6, I remember watching my brother build things, and I was like fascinated by that. Now it's just come so easy to me, you know.
Uh-huh.
But that's a real gift. You know, they
Yeah.
call that, it's a form of empathy where you can just take it in, okay? And then you can just do it. And it's so fascinating to me that you can do that.
I can visualize. I have that spatial relationship.
Right. You can see it.
And yeah, that imagination. Yeah.
Right.
But
that you can just see it.
we're, like right now, I'm at our office. I'm building a $30 million desal and air reclamation system for the city that I live in, and we're going to clean about 1 million gallons of water a day, and hopefully pull about 100,000 tons of CO2 out of the air. So that's kind of
This is another project that you're working on. Unreal.
That's so cool.
Yeah, that's really something people need, and to make a difference
you're
in the
really
world.
changing people's lives, definitely. That's wonderful.
Yeah, you know, I don't know. It's sometimes that I get all worked up because it's construction and this pandemic has been really tough. We're still we're about 6 months behind on everything, but we're still on budget, thank God.
Good.
But I have a friend who's in Syria right now, in the army, doing a peacekeeping mission in the middle of nowhere, right at the four corners where Syria, Iran, Lebanon, and Israel meet.
Right.
So it's kind of a hot spot, and I think you know, when I get all mad because somebody didn't put the bolt in the right place or something, I think, geez, I don't have it that bad. You know? Really. So, but yeah, this thing, it's really exciting. The air capture, the CO2 capture system, that one, like the water reclamation, that actually came out of it's an invention I came up with when we were doing the Mars stuff, because the biggest problem with going to Mars is the water. So we had to figure out a way to recycle water, and then we did that. But then I realized, well, that wouldn't work on a big scale for like the town I live in. And about 10 years ago, I came up with this invention to clean water, and ended up meeting a billionaire that said, "Hey, I'll fund that." So now we're to the point; it's out of the garage, and we're building a full municipal system now.
It's out of the garage. What's the name of your company that you do these projects through?
There's 2 of them. One is Combined Solar Technologies, and that was the one I started the inventions with. And both my partner and I back then, we were going, we got to think of a clever name. And I said, well, I'll pick a name that's like really generic and dumb, and that'll force us to change it later. And later, we'll have changed Combined Solar Technologies. That's the goofiest name. But CST works, though, so that's what we do.
Right.
But then this project is called Tracy Renewable Energy because we live in Tracy, California. So it's a biomass-powered system, so we don't use any, and clean about 1 million gallons a day.
Wow.
About 100,000 tons of CO2 out of the air.
Wow,
so
that is incredible.
We've got the air board to give us an experimental permit for this thing. So now if we can prove it works, I mean, you know, that's a jump, but we'll prove it works. We'll get an air permit for it, and then the air board is going to see it's working, and they're going to start forcing other people to start capturing carbon, you know, from stack gas. That's kind of what we've been going after. And then my buddy Elon's doing the cars, so I think we'll be.
You know, Elon's a member of the Explorers Club. You know that.
He is?
Yeah. And Jeff Bezos and Mark, his brother, I was at the club. The club's only partially open. You know, we were pandemic too, but we were up there at our beautiful outside terrace, and Mark Bezos came in that day with the coin that they took to Mars with them. So the only thing, the closest I'll ever get to Mars, I held the coin.
That's so cool.
I held it right here in my hand. You know, I felt it It's like it was. You know what? It was really cool. It was absolutely really cool.
That's
yeah, I love
amazing.
talking to people like that. It's it's
You know,
amazing.
Elon is the one who gave me the money to build the desert research station.
Oh, okay. Uh-huh.
Yeah, when you
In
said
fact-
billionaire and the direction you were going in, I kind of figured
Yeah.
that it was him. Wow.
Well,
That is-
it's not him. I didn't want to get involved with him business wise because he's kind of a shark, but I like him. And
Yeah.
so, like,
Well, and again, both of you are your
Same-
minds are on a
yeah.
similar path.
Same wavelength as
Yeah,
you
yeah.
would say.
Uh-huh.
so I was at I went at dinner with him about 18 years ago, I guess now, and it was with the Mars Society, but there was a snowstorm and it was in Denver, and everybody else was late, but he and I got there on time. So we waited about an hour at the bar, and we're about 3 glasses of wine in, and we're starting to get loud. He's telling me he wants to take my Russian wife to Russia because at the time he wanted to go buy used ICBMs to do experiments with. But Russians are so crooked out there. I mean, you could go to Moscow and throw a rock and hit 3 generals that'll sell you. So anyway, I said to Elon, geez, you just sold PayPal's. Why don't you just start your own rocket company? And he goes, no. And I said, look, I work with NASA, and I can know half those people would come to work for you if they thought they were actually doing something.
Wow.
You know, and so he's like, well, I don't know. And we're talking, and then everybody showed up. And then 2 months later, he started SpaceX. I
Wow.
called him up. Hey, where's my Elon?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Where's your cut? But yeah, that's so fascinating because again, like with him and Richard Branson, that they're
Yeah.
beginning to invest in the space, which up to now has really been a conglomerate of NASA, which is
Right.
government regulated or government controlled. So without that constant government supervision, I'm sure they've got so much more freedom.
Yeah, it's got to go private now.
So much faster. I mean, yeah. I mean, you just look at how fast he's built that the Starship. That
Right.
would take NASA 20 years to do something like that.
Right.
Right. Uh-huh. Yeah.
And I don't discount NASA; they're good too. But
Yeah.
when I was working there, I used to. So when you work there, we had this saying: you have time to do 1 or 2 things with your time at NASA. You can invent really cool stuff and come up with cool ideas, or you can take credit for other people inventing stuff and cool ideas. But you don't have time to do both, right? You can't promote something and be inventing at the same time. So you got half the people inventing stuff and the other people saying it was their idea and trying to sell it.
Always. Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Always.
Slightly more efficient post office, but not much.
So with everything you got going on, all right, I had no idea you were into space and
Mhm.
engineering to the and science to
Yeah.
the degree that you are. What's next for Revolution? Like, how do you keep that part of your life going too?
It's sort of in a separate box. And, you know, like I play every day. I have a studio here at the office. So I try to get 3 hours in every day. But we're working on a deal, hopefully with a record company right now to put out this new album with the song you saw that's on there. And we're getting ready to start. I'm looking at tour buses now. I'm going to buy a tour bus so we can, start playing a lot. And so, like, probably, yeah, I'm committed here. I can't just walk away from this,
It's
but
a big project.
at least for another year and a half. But every Thursday night we're going to jump on the tour bus and have a driver that'll just drive us around.
It's great.
We're going to go play in Portland, Oregon, I think it's a month. But it's going to be like one of those old Southern tours where we're going to get there and we're going to do 3 shows a day. I think we're playing at a church. We're playing at 3 clubs in one day, in the afternoon, the evening, and then at night. So, and we're taking, there's about 9 of us that are going, 3 different bands. And we're just going to,
cool.
yeah, it's going to be really fun. But with the bus now, we can, like leave Thursday night and be in San Friday morning to start doing stuff. So
Yeah, that will enable you to do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Are you coming to New York anytime soon?
Well, actually, I'm going to be in New York on the 11th for that thing that.
September 11th.
Oh my God!
Sweet.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That Soho
both
Johnny
be there.
event that is going to benefit the veterans. We will both be there. It is an
Oh, this is
incredible event.
wonderful.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's great. We're all. Oh my God! We're all going to
This
get
is
to
gonna
meet
be
each
so
other
cool.
in person.
Oh my goodness. Well, you've been watching If These Walls Could Talk with your hosts, Wendy Stuart and Tym Moss, and our incredible and fascinating guest, No Mansfield, from the group Revolution. And excuse me, I could talk to you all
Yeah, me
day.
too.
Unfortunately, our time is up. But please follow him at Revolution, which is the SHN at the end of revolution.com, and find out more about him, because he is No Mansfield. You are changing the world musically as well as scientifically.
Right.
And I just want to thank you for that. That is just, it was fascinating talking to you
Totally
and getting to know you a little bit better.
Oh, and hang out after we end the broadcast.
Yeah,
because
don't go anywhere.
We take a picture.
Yeah, we'll come back and chat for a minute
Just a minute.
after the broadcast ends. So don't
Yeah,
go
well-
anywhere. And don't freeze.
Oh, please.
All right. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, everybody.
No.
Thank you, No. Thank you, our audience.